Okay, so it is Saturday. It is about 96 degrees, and I know I'm crazy for coming out to the park, although I guess you can get entertained and check out all the teenagers coming for their quinceañera photos. This is one of the most popular things they do out here. So, I know if I were a 15-year-old girl, I'd probably be looking forward to something like that too. Where I'm the center of attention for all day. I know I'm the center of attention for some people watching this, but we all like attention. Anyway, here's the thing. Today's run, I really shouldn't even be doing it because of how hot it is. Not only that, but tomorrow I want to try to do my hike up Anderson and Santa Bernardino, and that is going to be one monstrous hike. Well, actually, I shouldn't say too monstrous because I've done them before. So I brought a 700 milliliter bottle of water. So I'm not only that, but I'm going to run the Southern Trail, which has a water fountain at the 4-mile mark, which I expect to reach. And I've promised myself that I cannot run too fast. I've got to take it easy. I know you've known me and I don't always obey, but if I run too hard, I'm just not going to do tomorrow. So, okay, we are here. Let's go ahead and get started.
Lap 1, 9:48. Heart rate 132.
Okay, I'm going a bit fast. My hope is to be doing 10:30 and 11. So let's slow down a bit. Oh, one warning to all of you. Do not, and I repeat, do not run in the sun like I am doing right now. Unless you know your body's limits out here and you've already done a few test runs. People die out here. I've been running for years out here, and so I've practically got a PhD in my own physiology of dehydration. So you can learn from my notes, but they do not apply to you directly because everyone's physiology is different. So why would I share this? Because there are some of you who will push yourselves, and this should help you understand. One, it is dangerous. But just like there are trapeze artists who years of practice has given them the ability to look like they can do something that would kill the rest of us, what you're looking at is somebody who's been running this for years. And even then, there is a risk. I do all kinds of things to mitigate the risk. That's what you should pay attention to. Understand what heat exhaustion and heat stroke look like. For example, to mitigate one thing I do, I use my heart rate monitor, a very good one, no cheapy ones. You don't want to cheap out when you're actually pushing yourself into dangerous levels. Even the Polar H10 is not good enough. I should do a review on the Garmin one that I have. Oops. This stupid thing. I think you can see it. Anyway. The reason you don't want to use a cheapy one is because some people may suffer from flutters or other kind of heart rate spikes. I've never gotten those throughout all the years, but here's the problem. is even on the polar sensors, it would occasionally jump to crazy numbers. The first few times I actually wondered, am I really losing control of my heart? Is my heart really fluttering? But I would use other sensors. I also have the Fitbit sensor, so I have 2 heart rate monitors on me right now. Now the Fitbit is a bad sensor. It doesn't really work too well. You may ask, well, I use both. Well, Fitbit is more of a backup. It's not absolutely worthless. See, if your main sensor starts to bounce, starts to show high readings, you can compare it to your secondary sensor, because the Fitbit will still, most of the time, still give fairly accurate readings. And so if I see one sensor going crazy and the other one's not, then that tells me that it's probably not. I'll check my connections, and usually I'll notice it goes back to normal. There's many things that can interfere. We might have a whole discussion about how heart rate monitors will give you false readings. I've been using them for 20 years. I've used almost all of them. So far, this Garmin sensor, which is the most expensive, but it is the best. At least barring some sensor I've not heard of yet. The other thing you should do is, like me, get your heart checked. Now, I was lucky in a way because I got screened for heart problems, both with an EKG and with a stress echo and a regular echo, which are kind of cool because they tell you a lot of stuff about your heart, including its chamber size, the fact that my heart is dilated, which should make sense since my resting heart rate is in the 40s. On a good day, it's 48, 47. No, on a bad day, it's 47, 48, maybe even in the 50s. On a good day, it's gone down to as low as 42. But getting an echocardiogram, an ECG, that's an electroencephalogram, that's different. None of these are guarantees that you won't drop dead. But then nothing in life is a guarantee other than death. But they will help reduce the chance that you might drop dead from a number of conditions. So I still recommend you get them. I've gotten them every year. Well, I've gotten ECGs every year. I got the stress echo a year ago. And then when I recovered from COVID, I always go over my heart rate monitor readings. And one of the things I go over the most, and so I check that for anomalies. As far as I know myself, I do not suffer from flutters. Although a few years ago, I did suffer from, it was a kind of arrhythmia. A very common one, as a matter of fact, amongst athletes. I think it's called PVE, paraventricular. Don't quote me on that one, but I'll put it up there. It's kind of arrhythmia where people who push themselves too hard, their heart will grow and the electrical signals will start to fire too rapidly sometimes. This is not a problem during runs. It was a problem that I would have waking up in the morning. That's another thing that I also do, is I check my heart rate variability, which you should know by now. And I noticed that on those mornings, I would have this extra jump. Yes, it scared the shit out of me. As a matter of fact, heart problems are the number one scariest thing to me. Went to the cardiologist, checked me. Of course, most cardiologists do not know much about that type of arrhythmia, because most of them don't really deal with athletes and their conditions. They deal with sedentary people and their conditions, and arrhythmias for them are different. One thing I just want to make sure is, well, will I die? If I do, at least you do that. You get it in the morning, you won't die. I read up on it. Anyway, the long story short, I just had to ease up on my intensity. So I'm pushing myself too hard. And if I kept doing it, there was a risk that the condition would become permanent. Once I brought it down, it went away. And it hasn't come back. I think that was 2019. So it's been years. But the point is, I know my heart's history. Not only that, but it was after I resolved that problem and that my resting heart rate went down by about 5 beats. So that's a good thing. What I'm saying is, before you do these kinds of dangerous runs, get to know yourself so that you will know. The thing is, because heat exhaustion and heat stroke will usually show up in your heart rate. Also know how much you dehydrate and measure yourself. I just weighed myself before and I will weigh myself after. So I have all these interesting calculations. Those are the many ways that I mitigate the risk.
Lap 2, 10:33. Heart rate 135.
There we go. That's a good time. Well, no, it's not, but it's the time I need. So, my whole point is, this is dangerous, and you're not seeing all the little steps that I'm taking to mitigate that danger. And you may need to take other steps, all the ones I'm saying, and maybe some more. In the end, it's still dangerous. There's a chance I can push myself too hard and still suffer some bad effects. And for some of you, your dehydration tolerance is probably lower. I've noticed my dehydration tolerance is higher than many people. I can lose 10, even 12 pounds before it becomes a medical emergency. And I've noticed there are some people who even losing 5 pounds messes them up. So we're different. Don't do this. Especially where your weaknesses lie. Especially with your heart. Okay, time to turn around. Oh, but there is the fountain. If you look, you'll see the fountain right over there. But I have enough water, so I don't need it. So you might be asking, why the hell would anyone want to run in this weather? I agree. As a matter of fact, if you're in a nice air-conditioned room, I 100% empathize with the feeling. I was in a nice air-conditioned room just recently. just before I came out here, and I felt exactly the same inertia. I'm like, what the hell? I'm gonna die out there. It always feels the same. So everything you're feeling, every resistance you're feeling coming out in hot weather, I felt. Of course, because my world includes times that I've come out and learned it wasn't going to kill me, I can listen to those. So when I come out, I know it's uncomfortable for a few minutes, then my body adjusts. It's never comfortable, but remember, running hurts me anyway. So a little pain from the warmth doesn't really matter much when you already count how much it hurts. And yes, it hurts. So, for me at least, the initial resistance, yeah, I feel it, but I also know that my body will adjust, and it does. I still have to respect the heat. Which, at least today, it's not that hard to run slow because it's so damn hot. But I'm also doing something I normally don't do, which is I turned around right at the 4-mile mark. So if you know my runs, I usually go 1 more mile. So for example, if I'm going to run 8, I go out to 5. So that way I force myself to do a 2-mile cool down. This time, I'm coming right back and ending it right where I started. Partly because of the hot weather. That means that I'm going to do my cool down in the park with the trees, which I normally would consider cheating. But I have to be a little lenient on myself on hot days. Finally, you may still wonder, I wouldn't go out, and I agree. But I will say one thing. We all need that motivator to push us into doing some of this stuff that we wouldn't do. If you don't have a strong enough motivator, I'm not sure I can help you. Each one of us has a different motivator. Now, some people will tell you, well, let me change hands here. Some people will tell you, well, you just want a motivator that is positive. Oops. There we go. You just need a motivator that's positive. You know, they'll tell you, I believe in you and stuff. And it's nice. But sometimes, I hate to admit it, the best motivators are negatives. Sometimes the feeling that I'm getting fat scares the shit out of me. I don't let my fat fear completely control me, but I would be dishonest if I didn't tell you that it does take an important part in my motivation. Just don't let it control. Give it some rein. Don't let it get too big. So sometimes your fear, your negatives can help. Just don't let them get out of control. For some of us, they can be too easy, and maybe then you should tighten them down even further or not allow them. I, for one, will say my negatives were also very bad. They were what led me to develop an eating disorder. My extreme vanity. And so now it's under control. At least I think so. But it is not the only one driving me. As I said, you don't want to be all negatives, all negative drivers. You want to have some positives. And I have that. I believe. I've seen myself do this. I tell myself this is not too hard. Just take one step in front of the other. And we've done it before. And we'll do it again. And it seems to work. Getting so sweaty. Even the grip is getting a little slippery. And that, despite the fact I brought a glove. But I thought I would take you through my little curves here before I cut off for a bit. Oh, it's not even that high, but it feels bad. Oh. $140. Slow down. See the horsey? Okay.
Lap 5, 11:14. Heart rate 135.
Wow. Yeah. So the phone, the last recording, it was so hot that the phone overheated and shut down. So hopefully it doesn't shut down this time too soon.
Lap 8, 10:24. Heart rate 142.
Okay. It was elevated because of all the preparing I did with the camera. It was about 135. heart's staying at 140. Probably the dehydration. Slow down more. We're almost done. Okay. There we are. We're good. Oh my God. Oh, okay. Let's save our data and start our cool down. And by the way, cool down is super important right now. You can see I'm taking it easy through the park. At least until I hit 1.5. I'll keep doing my slow jog. But at least the run seems kind of successful. I don't know if I would call it that. I'll see my heart rate. I couldn't tell, but I think at the end it was climbing to 138, which is bad for this hot weather. Well, actually, what I'm saying is it's hard to keep it from going up in this hot weather, so that might be okay. This little slow jog just feels like taking a break. Yeah. This is relaxing in comparison. Yeah. Okay. I guess that'll be it for today. I'm just going to do my walk down now. So, even the last 100th of a mile feels too much. Okay, 151. Oh, yeah. There we go. Okay. Oh, see, they've got all kinds of people celebrating. Because it's time to celebrate. Oh. Okay. We're done for today. Oh my God. Yeah. Yep. We are done. We're done, guy. We're done. Ah. Oh.